Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Mastermind. I am your host, Sonny Von Cleveland. Today, we are talking about the keys to freedom. Listen, this is going to be an important topic that you guys are going to want to pay attention to. We may think of freedom not as the right to do as we please, but the opportunity to do what's right. And that's how we got to look at it. Nelson Mandela, an amazing human being. Nelson Mandela once said, "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." We're going to be talking today about freedom and the keys to freedom and how you make sure that you're living your best, happiest, and freest life. Today on the Daily Mastermind, let's go. Joining me as always, though, beautiful Claire is here. Hi, baby.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, my love. Day 5, ladies and gentlemen, on the 66-day challenge. You can find out more about our 66-day challenge if you tune into the nightcap right here on Itopia Coaching every night around 9 o'clock. Depends on how much we get done during the day and if we have to go swimming and working out at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. But go check it out. Great times. Very authentic show at the end. You guys can come check it out. The nightcap with Sonny and Claire. It's amazing. And if this is your first time tuning in, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We go live every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. right here on the Daily Mastermind to give you tools, guidance, and wisdom to live your best, fullest, and happiest life. Today, we're talking about the keys to freedom. I think the very first thing that needs to be said, babe, about this is people have to define what freedom is, right?
100%.
I think we need to define what freedom means to us, to you, to me. Come to the determination that you want and are ready to change your reality. And in that, you have to define your freedom. My freedom means I have the ability to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. And what I want is to do good in the world and help other people. So basically, freedom to me means I'm able to help people whenever I want, wherever I want, however I want, because I think that that is the key to life. How do you define freedom, my love?
I define freedom differently than you. So most people will think of freedom as external, like I am free, I'm not in prison, I'm not being controlled, that kind of thing. I define freedom differently. I define freedom as being having freedom in my mind, meaning I am not a victim to external circumstances. So, for example, you could be a multimillionaire or a billionaire, but you may not be happy because you're still reacting to external circumstances. Does that make sense? So
It does make sense.
You still have anger, rage, fear, anxiety, whatever it may be. So for me, freedom is being free from all of those negative emotions. Now, it's not to say that we would never have negative emotions again. You're always going to have disturbances in life. But for me, freedom is not reacting to those external disturbances or minimizing my reaction to external circumstances and not running away with it and, letting it ruin my day or weeks on end and so forth.
I know miserable millionaires.
Pardon?
I know miserable millionaires.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with money. Well, then let's jump into this. There are keys to doing this. So there are ways to figure out how to be free, to understand it. First, you have to define it. I think then you have to build your freedom team, and then you have to expect to succeed. Those are my 3 keys to freedom, and I'm going to break each of those down with you guys over the shows and get Claire's feedback. But define your freedom, build your freedom team, and expect to succeed. These are the 3 ways you're going to find freedom. Do you have keys, babe, or is it more of just
I think it's a loose no, I wouldn't even say it's loose. It's a philosophy that I live by in life. I want to caveat this. I'm not perfect at this. This doesn't mean like, hey, 24 hours a day, I'm like Miss Zen Bunny. That's not
Right.
true. But I'm able to catch myself when I go away from being a Zen Bunny and go, stop this. So what I say for my keys to freedom are proactively choosing not to react to something, proactively choosing not to give my attention to something that's just a waste of time and is going to take me away from happiness. Again, I don't have it all mastered. I do screw up, I do lose it along the way and so forth, but my philosophy is to try to not react to external circumstances and to be free in my mind,
And you know what? And I don't want to interrupt or cut anything here or straight from the topic, but Shauna Jones, this is something profound. This is a profound statement right here from Shauna Jones. Shauna Jones just said, since Wayne passed, I feel like a weight has been lifted and more free from the stress he would put on me. I remember last week when it was the opposite, when Shauna was posting the opposite of how it was negatively impacting you and affecting your life.
You've done amazing.
This statement right here shows me that Shauna Jones, you have chosen how you're going to respond to this tragic event, and you're finding strength in it, because that's what that is right there. Am I wrong?
And you're amazing. You inspire me, Shauna. That's
You
amazing.
you are amazing. You are incredible. You are finding your freedom right there by choosing the way we respond. Like Claire said, one of the keys is to proactively choose the way we respond to something.
I think
Because
freedom also, if I'm going to interrupt you, apologies.
go, you're good.
I think freedom also comes from recognizing that we cannot be responsible for somebody else's happiness or
Facts.
action. We can influence, we can try to
You
influence,
can influence.
but we cannot control somebody else's happiness. And actually, I realized that a long time ago, and actually that lifted huge weights off my shoulders. That hey, I can I can be kind, I can be good to someone, I can influence someone, but at the end of the day, I can't do their push-ups for them. What that analogy means, it's like going to a personal trainer, paying them $50 an hour, whatever it may be, and then wanting the personal trainer to do the push-ups for you. You can give the
Can't do it.
tools, but you can't do it for them. And so I think freedom comes from realizing that you cannot make somebody else happy and you can't be responsible for somebody else's feelings.
Right. You cannot be responsible for the way somebody else feels. Sorry, Amos has it. And I know Amos has a migraine today, and I'm trying to help him. Freedom for me is to feel feelings.
Absolutely.
That's a great definition. I think one of my most profound keys here is building your freedom team. And what we're trying to do and what we've offered here is we can be your freedom team. You have an entire chat right here with Joe Torres, Shauna Jones, Reeves, Amos. You have an entire chat room of freedom team right here that we can all work together to help each other build each other's freedom. To find freedom, you have to find who has already found freedom and then learn from them, because they will educate and facilitate your ability to obtain that freedom. You have to find your freedom team. I started to surround myself years ago with successful people that were business owners, like my friend Anthony, my friend Mike Donato. I surrounded myself with these men and I worked with them directly, and I stayed under their influence because it showed me where I'm going in my life. It's not where I want to end. I don't want to stop where they're at because that's their life. That's their path. And kudos to them. I want to go beyond that. So I surround myself with those people, and my wife. I mean, look at my girl here. She is inspirational to me. So she surrounds me every day, and I derive inspiration from you as well. So I keep that around. And then my people here, the whole YouTube community, the reason why I do these podcasts is because you guys are my community. You are my freedom team. You guys help me to feel better because you show me that what I strive to do in my life helps and it works. And somebody takes something positive from it. And that lights a fire under my ass. That motivates me like nobody's business. And so I get up and I do it every day. Storm of Irons as well.
Yeah.
Freedom team. What do you think?
Absolutely. You have to surround if you want to be free in your mind and free in your life and be happy, it sounds harsh, but you have to get rid of or minimize your time with the negative Nancy's and the miserable people and the chronic complainers and the moaners. Now, it's different if somebody's going through a challenging time, of course, but if somebody's going to wallow in something for years on end and is not going to do anything to help themselves, that's where you got to kind of minimize your time with people like that. But if someone's just going through a difficult time and just needs a friendly ear and a safe space to talk about things, rock and roll, that's cool, no problem. But and I will spend a lot of time with people who are going through a difficult time and just want some guidance and want a listening ear and a safe space. That's totally cool. But I proactively, Sonny has seen this. I don't have anybody in my life who's a chronic complainer, who is a chronic miserable person. I don't have it. Like, I wish you lots of love and light. Good luck to you. But nope, I'm out, because you do not represent freedom to me. You do not represent happiness, and spending time with you and you sucking the energy out of me is not going to help me, you, or anybody else.
Energy vampires are a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what Joe said right here, because this is very valid. What's interesting is people from different parts of the world would define freedom differently or put a different value on it. And that is really, really true, because what catches me on here about this sentence is the value part. I think inherently people that are from advanced countries, right?
Western first world nations.
First world nations. I think people from first world nations have a different value on freedom as opposed to third world countries. I haven't been personally, but Claire has been. And this is why I say she's inspiring. Like, I can suck all that information and wisdom that she has gained over traveling, but you go to places like Cambodia and Malaysia, and they have a different value on freedom.
And actually, you know what I would say is, I have been to some of the poorest countries in the world: Cambodia, Myanmar, India. I backpacked across Africa, for example, and I would actually argue that a lot of those people that I have met in these poor countries are actually freer than you and I, because they find happiness in nothing. I remember being in Botswana in Africa, and I was backpacking across Africa, and the truck that I was in traveling across this country broke down in the middle of absolute nowhere, and there was these little kids, 6 or 7 years old, playing in the dirt with no shoes and no socks and just raggedy t-shirts and so forth, in a petrol station. And I went in there because I was stuck there for 4 hours while we fixed this truck, and I bought a beach ball that cost, I don't know, $1 or something like this. And these kids have never played with a beach ball. They've never played with a soccer ball, and they acted like this was the greatest thing that they had ever had. And we played for hours with this beach ball. And I remember thinking to myself, if this was Western kids, they would not be happy, probably, because they don't have the PlayStation or whatever it would be. So I would actually say sometimes people who have nothing are actually happier because they are not slaves to external things. Now, they may not be free because, or maybe not be happy because they're hungry and so forth, but they don't have the external need to buy all of the gadgets per se.
Sure. And that, I think, gives you a deeper appreciation for it, because I want to get back to Ann and Drew Dave, who is a new commenter on the show. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. I want to get to this comment, but I also want to say people like Joe Torres, and you haven't even met him, my adopted son. Basically, I've adopted this young man years ago back in Ohio, Christian Walters. You guys, like Joe Torres, Christian Walters, have a different perspective. These guys both serve in the military. Joe Torres is a retired naval officer, a naval chief. And Christian has gone to war. Like, you guys see the different appreciation that people have for freedom and the different value they put on freedom. Joe Torres, that was an amazing statement. Let's address this one. My freedom began when my best friend unfriended me. I have no idea how much influence his negativity affected me. It was eye-opening how much lighter I felt with him gone. This is the thing that she has helped me with so much in my life, because when you remove negative people, and sometimes negative people will remove themselves, they'll take themselves out of your way, because when you live in love and light and kindness, the negative things tend to just fall away when you choose yourself and you put up a fortress. But this is right. If your best friend, even if it's your best friend, she has let go of her best friend. She's let go of all of her friends. I'm telling you what, this woman is amazing. She has let go of all of her friends around the world because they're vampires. And
Yeah,
you've
I
got to
mean,
feel lighter. Go ahead,
I
babe.
I basically I went through a divorce last year, and actually a divorce will tell you who your real friends are. Divorce makes people uncomfortable. Choosing you makes people uncomfortable, and so to feel good about themselves and their own relationships, it's easier to say, oh, hey, Claire is going through menopause, or she's having a mental breakdown, or whatever. It's easier to shit on the person who's chosen themselves, because that takes away the mirror from their looking at their own relationship. And I actually, to Sunny's point, I wish you all love and light, but you're not coming on the next part of my journey. Like, I
You
wish you
can't.
no ill harm. I wish you the greatest happiness, but you're not part of the journey with me.
Yeah, you can't. And Ann and Dave, thank you so much for tuning in and dropping a comment and sharing with us. It's a pleasure to have you here. This is the world's community for growth and becoming a mastermind. Uh, and Storm of Iron also said chronically negative people are emotionally and physically exhausting. These are what we're talking about when it comes to emotional vampires. This is it. Joe Torres says deployments have taught me that people in the U.S. do not value freedom as much as other countries would, and I think we just drove that home with those definitions. That is exactly the point. So appreciate the freedom. I have, from being taken away from the world for so long after 18 years. I think that it's my driving force almost every day of my life. It's tattooed right there on my wrist. Freedom. It is for me. It is very external. I haven't had as much struggle, and I do have a lot of internal freedom issues that I've worked over and got through because I'm free as shit on the inside, and I have been for years. Even when I'm stuck in a hole, I was free on the inside. But externally, it means so much to me. The sound of the air, the chirping of birds. We talked about this yesterday. The sound of a lawnmower in the distance. How many of you think of that right now? As I say that, you're like, shit. Remember that? The sound of a lawnmower off in the distance, birds chirping, dogs barking, kids laughing. That to me is freedom. That is the epitome of freedom. To hear that lets me know that you're going to be okay no matter what. No matter what you're going through in life, no matter how bad it looks, no matter how tragic it is, no matter what the day is about to throw at you, if you can wake up and look out the window, it's it. You always have another shot to beat everything.
For me, I get that. For me, I get that from looking at the stars and the moon, because I lived in London for 21 years, and you can't see the stars. I mean, you might see the moon, but you can't see the stars because of all the light pollution. So for me, I was swimming at 8:30, 9 o'clock last night under the stars, looking up, going, oh, this is freedom. And it makes me feel insignificant. When I look up at thousands and thousands of stars, I realize that in the great big scheme called life, I am insignificant. Meaning, it doesn't mean I'm an insignificant person. It just means that the traumas or the worries of Claire Rogers are insignificant in the great big scheme called life. And that brings me freedom.
Right. Realizing how infinitesimal we are on this massive earth makes you feel more free. And actually, that's a really good point. And go ahead and drop in the comment section what your sound of freedom is, because I see we got a couple ones here. Did I say kids crying? I meant kids laughing. If I said kids crying, I did not mean sound of freedom. Kids laughing. Pamela Kilpin said snowplow in winter. I can imagine that. Some people love winter. Some people love to be cold, but you hear that sound, right? There's always a sound. Like for me, it's also ocean waves. Claire and I have sat for hours on oceans and just sat there and listened to the waves, because that sound of the ocean waves, it's just such a massive, ubiquitous sound that's covering all of your senses. It's
I would
incredible.
actually, I would go to Pamela's point, because I grew up in the snow, is to the sound of your snow boots hitting and crunching snow.
Yes.
And on a crisp, cool day, and you crunch, crunch, crunch. I'm like, oh,
It's amazing.
it's just like
especially
a
you call it what do you call it? Concrete. What is it? The concrete you call it?
West Coast cement.
West Coast cement, right? So you got that thin little layer of really dangerous razor sharp ice, but it cracks under your boots and it's all fluffy and soft underneath it.
It's like
that is an incredible step through nature. It's beautiful. We have some things coming in though. Amanda and Drew Dave says, or Ann, excuse me, says wind in the palm trees, right? The way it rushes through. Shauna Jones says, "I love the sound. I love that sound name. Oh, the sound of rain on a tin
Yes.
roof. Right. Those are just amazing, right? Pamela Kilpin says, "When I live in Santa Barbara, the sound of foghorns." Right.
Yeah.
And Shauna Jones says, "I go to a friend's garage at the lake at least once a week because it's my quiet place." Right. So
Yeah.
when you hear these sounds, this is your reminder of freedom. This is
Yeah.
like, oh, and when Amanda is when you're near the ocean, right? Those waves just
And may I interject here?
sure.
See the common theme? The common theme is nature.
Right.
We all feel free in nature, or the sounds of the universe, God, whatever you want to call nature's sounds. That's where we all feel free, because that's
Right.
actually where we all come from.
Right. And Reeves is looking at and hearing fire and feeling the heat at the same time. Right. The
Yes.
crackling of a fire in a campground. Right. So it's just those are what, if you can learn how to hone in on those things, that is also the Stoic concept of stillness. Right. Christian bonfire
Yeah.
on a cool summer night. Right. Because chickens and dog waves. Wow. Okay. I like it. Um, Seriously, when you can lock in those sounds, that is the Stoic philosophy of stillness, of understanding the beauty of the area that you're around, and just take that moment to realize, right? Now, if this was your last day, what are you going to do with it?
Exactly. And
Knowing,
think to yourself, would you rather listen to those sounds than the bollocks that's talked about on the news or social
right,
media and all that? Like,
right,
given your choice, if this was your last day on earth, I have a girlfriend right now who is younger than me. I'm 48. She's in her 40s. She's a single mom with two little ones, and she's fighting cancer for the third time. Was re-diagnosed 2 weeks ago. And I think about her every single day, because I think to myself, every time I feel like I'm about to get caught up in drama or something like that, I'm like, I'm not going to say her name, but what would she do? What would she think in this situation, right? Because
right.
literally every day could be the last. And I'm thinking, you know what? If it's brought me back to myself to think, if this was my last day on earth, because this is the last day on earth for many people in this world,
It will
would
be.
I spend my time listening to the sounds of nature and focusing on all the good in the world and all the good people in the world? Or would I focus on this nonsense on social media and the news and all that? No, of course not. So that's how I actually am able to get freedom, is I think about the people who don't get freedom much longer, you know, or get the right to live this beautiful life much longer,
I think having that awareness of how short life is for other people as well, and you keep that in mind, like other people are dealing with a lot worse than what we are, and
Absolutely.
if you keep that in the forefront of your mind, it really helps. It alleviates.
Well, it
uh
comes down to it comes down again to gratitude. If every day, no matter what is going on in your life, if you can find things to be grateful for, I'm grateful for all of you that has joined in today. I'm grateful for all of your comments, for example. That warms my soul. I can't even
oh,
begin
right,
to explain to you how good that makes me feel inside, because
right,
we aim to come on here to inspire, but actually all of you interacting are inspiring me. So I am grateful for that. So no matter what is going on outside of today, I can always remember this conversation.
right. It's an We are made for each other. Man was made for each other. Teach or tolerate. Seneca said that. Your boy,
Mhm.
Seneca or
Seneca.
Epictetus, one of them. Uh, yes, have a gratitude journal. That's what I was going to get to. Have a gratitude journal. Write down every day 3 things that you're grateful for. In the mornings, in the nights, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It'll help you out. Um, a freedom feeling. Oh, we're going back to the feelings. Okay. My third key to freedom is expecting to succeed. Right?
Mhm.
If you have to expect to win. You got to expect to know that whatever it is you're going to do, you're going to get there. You have to know inside yourself that the choices you make from this moment moving forward are all good and kind and are for the advent of your freedom. Expect it to win. We have been on this for the last couple of days. We've been talking about this, the expectation thing and the
Mhm.
expecting to win and living in the moment, living like it's already here. It's harder to do than it is to say it. So I just completely said it's easier said than done the hard way. Uh, it is easier said than done, But to live in the mindset of what you want to be already there is a habit and a skill that you can adopt, that you can develop, and it changes your life, right?
Absolutely. So let's break that down. So, for example, most of us walk around life feeling what we don't want. So we go to a store, oh, I can't afford this, oh, I can't have this, I can't. And then what does those feelings of I can't invoke? Makes you feel
Right.
shit, right?
Right.
Makes you feel lack. Instead, you can say that this is, deluding yourself. Okay, no problem. I'll delude myself. Instead, walk around and say, I've got millions in the bank and I can afford this. I'm just choosing not to buy it right now. I know that sounds crazy, but if you practice that every day, all day long, all of a sudden, you feel really, really wealthy. And that feeling of wealth will make you be successful in whatever endeavor that you are going for. I know it sounds like you're deluding yourself, but try it. And then, prove me wrong,
Right. Like Pamela says here, today was the last day of my work contract for a company I enjoyed working for. I expect to be
Yes.
working for them again
Yes.
someday. Right. You expect it. You expect the things that you want to happen, and you live like they're about to happen. They're coming. They are going to happen. And that's called manifestation.
Absolutely.
So you have to expect to succeed. Those are my 3 keys. I hope those 3 keys help out for somebody. And I hope that somebody takes away something positive from what we talked about today, because this is what it's about, right? It's about sharing ideas and giving off the things that we know that work, because for all intents and purposes, we all could have completely different lives if we all chose to do something different, right? You can't, we can't look around and blame our circumstance, or we can't blame our current circumstance on anything. We have chosen everything in our life. We have chosen to be here. And so choose freedom. If you want to.
I would disagree with that. I don't know that we've chosen everything in our life, but we have chosen our reaction and our response to it.
Right. We choose the way we react. Right. There are things that happen in life that we didn't choose to happen, or we didn't manifest to happen. And I don't want to get into the semantics of that because it's a very touchy subject. But your current circumstance, if you can change it, it's your responsibility.
And I would also say as well is to the people who've said that they've had to let go of friends or partners or whatever it is, and so forth. If you feel any lingering feelings to ex-coworkers, partners, friends, whatever it may be, and you feel annoyed or resentment or whatever, the thing that I've come to realize is, I've done a lot of growing over my life. We've all done a lot of growing inside. And we have to remember, just because we grow and evolve doesn't mean that other people stay the same.
Facts.
So these people may not be in our life anymore, but it doesn't mean that they're stuck in whatever nasty thing that they may or may not have done.
Right.
They could be evolving in their own way. They're just not part of your journey anymore. So that's how I'm able to say love and light to anybody who's hurt me, because just because I'm growing doesn't mean that they're staying the same.
No doubt. Listen, great show. Thank you guys so much. I want to thank Claire again, as always, for sacrificing your time to help other people. You're amazing, and I love you. And to all of the people that have joined in and watched, we had some new commenters today, new viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. And I think Sophie Grace wants to say hi. So this is our one and only Sophie Grace. You can follow her on Instagram at Sophie_Grace PSP. And come watch her life as she grows. She is also, we're turning her into an emotional support animal, the world's dog. She belongs to the world, man. She is your dog. Come watch her life and watch her grow. We'll be back Monday. We'll be doing the nightcap every night, though. If you want to stay up on our progress on our 66-day journey, you guys can tune into the nightcap every night. We'll be there. We don't know what time it is. It's very raw. It's very authentic. It's when we accomplish what we need to do. We're going to be coming on and keeping you up. We have gotten all green check marks so far. Day 5, 61 days to go.
But Sonny's not counting.
Are we going to get any red X's? I don't think we're going to get any red X's. I think we're going to rock this out. I know we're going to rock this out. So you guys can follow along there too. We greatly appreciate you guys. Listen, share, follow, invite, like, share this out. You know somebody that needs it. Have them come in and great story to end this off with a new guest host that'll be coming up on the show soon, Megan. So Claire and I were down
No,
at the DHS offices for some things, and we met Megan, who is a motivational speaker. And she has her own thing. And we just got into contact, and Megan is going to be coming on the show as another one of our hosts, along with Dom and Ryan and our other slew of hosts. And you guys are going to like what she has to say. She's an incredible person, and you are going to enjoy it. So have a great weekend. Stay healthy. Stay kind. Oh, wait, we got last words. Babe, last words?
my last words are, be happy, enjoy life, and to be free. Just remember, you get what you focus on. So if you focus on the negativity around you in this world, you won't be free. Focus on the goodness. And also, my final note as well is thank you so much for tuning in. We've had so much interaction today, and we've had lots of new people. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and have an amazing weekend.
Be free, people. Be free. Freedom is the number one key to unlocking everything else in your life. Be free. You're free to make your choices. You're free to read, study, grow, regress, fail, fall, get up, keep going, climb, quit. You're free to do all of those things. Stick with us, choose the right things, and your life will be 10 times, 100 times, a million times better. Love y'all. And we will see you guys fresh Monday morning right back here for the Daily Mastermind. Have a great weekend.